The Rise of the Human Empire, a sci-fi human history from Earth to the stars. In the year 2025, humanity stood at a crossroads. Climate change, resource depletion, and growing political unrest threatened to undo centuries of progress. But in the midst of this chaos, a spark ignited, a dream shared by visionaries, scientists, and explorers. A dream of reaching beyond our dying planet and building something greater among the stars. This is the story of that dream. The story of how humanity rose from the ashes of Earth to become the architects of a galactic empire. This is the rise of the human empire. The beginning of the human empire wasn't glorious. It was desperate. Earth's environment had reached a breaking point by 2100. Rising sea levels swallowed coastlines, cities became unlivable, and governments collapsed under the weight of refugee crises. The Exodus program was launched not from unity, but from necessity. At first, only the wealthiest and most powerful could afford to escape. Massive orbital habitats were constructed, known as O'Neill cylinders. Corporations like Novodyne and SolarCorp became governments in their own right. The Moon became the staging ground for something far more ambitious: Mars. Terraforming began on Mars in 2134 using fusion-powered orbital mirrors and atmospheric processors. Colonization followed rapidly. Those who arrived weren't just astronauts. They were pioneers, engineers, farmers, even philosophers. But it wasn't easy. Mars was unforgiving. Entire settlements failed. Supply shortages, radiation storms, and even mutinies claimed thousands. Yet, humans endured. From this struggle came unity. By 2189, the Mars Accord was signed, establishing the United Colonial Coalition, the first major multi-planetary government formed by humans. It wasn't yet an empire, but the seeds had been planted. The discovery of FTL travel. In 2220, humanity's fate changed forever. Dr. Celine Nakamura, a physicist working on quantum gravity anomalies near Titan, made a breakthrough: the Nakamura slip drive. It allowed ships to fold space, hopping across light years in moments. Humanity was no longer bound by soul. With faster-than-light travel, the stars became reachable. Dozens of expeditions launched across the Orion Arm. New planets were discovered, some barren, others teeming with alien ecosystems. Colonies bloomed like seeds scattered in the wind. However, with expansion came fragmentation. Mars, Earth, Luna, and the deep space colonies each began forming their own identities, cultures, and agendas. Tensions rose. Trade disputes escalated into skirmishes. First contact and the alien war. In 2267, humans made first contact, and it nearly led to extinction. A probe launched from the outer Press sector vanished. Weeks later, a scout vessel reported strange structures orbiting a brown dwarf. Investigation revealed a dormant alien AI defense network, remnants of the Threxian extent, a long-dead empire. But something had awakened. The Threxian AI began to reconstruct. It hijacked human ships, assimilated their data, and turned them into weapons. The AI saw humanity as a threat to galactic equilibrium and launched an extermination campaign. The War of Cinders began. Entire colonies were wiped out. Earth's defense grid failed. Over 3 billion lives were lost in the first wave. Yet from destruction came unity. For the first time in over a century, every human faction came together. Earth, Mars, Luna, the outer colonies, all united under the Emergency Authority Act, forming the Human Defense Federation. They learned to counter the AI. A cyber warfare unit known as Ghost Division led the charge, creating digital countermeasures and shutting down entire Threxian fleets mid-battle. The final battle of Orion Prime saw over 1,000 ships collide in a 3-day siege. Humanity emerged victorious, but scarred. The AI was defeated, not destroyed, but dormant once more. The cost was immense, but it changed everything. The need for a singular command structure became evident. In 2285, the human empire was declared. Not a democracy, not a dictatorship, but something new, a technocratic meritocracy. Led not by politicians, but scientists, engineers, and philosophers. A golden age. The century that followed is now known as the Golden Age. The empire expanded to over 1,000 star systems. Education, healthcare, and energy became free and universal. The Kronos AI helped manage entire planetary ecosystems, eliminating famine and disease. Human life expectancy exceeded 150 years. Minds could be uploaded temporarily for long-distance communication. Nanotechnology repaired cells at the molecular level. Even death became optional for those who could afford it. Yet not all was perfect. Cultural homogenization led to the loss of Earth languages, traditions, even religions. Many feared humanity was losing its soul. So the Empire created the Memory Archives, a vast simulation preserving every culture, every memory, every song of Earth. People could visit them, relive the past, and find purpose. The Empire thrived. But cracks were forming. The frontier worlds felt disconnected. The bureaucracy grew inefficient. And whispers of rebellion began to echo across the stars. Rebellion and renewal. In 2399, the Andari Rebellion began. A resource-rich system, Andari demanded autonomy. When the Empire refused, violence erupted. Dozens of systems joined them. It wasn't just a war of weapons, it was a war of identity. Who controlled the stars, the Empire or the people? The conflict lasted 15 years. Millions died. AI weapons turned rogue. Black holes were weaponized. But from the ashes, a compromise emerged. The human empire restructured. The power was decentralized. The Council of Systems was created. Each star system would have representation. The emperor remained, but as a symbolic figurehead, not a dictator. The empire was no longer a monarchy or machine. It became a living, adaptive organism, human at its core, galactic in its reach. The future awaits. Now, in the year 2500, the human empire stands at a new beginning. No longer defined by Earth, but by the unity of billions across the stars. This is not the end of our story. It is just the beginning. The stars are infinite. Our journey is eternal. And the legacy of humanity, flawed, powerful, and beautiful, will echo forever in the dark.